Yeah, I agree, man. So, um, if you had to pick a few long-term stocks to just like throw some money in and say you want to buy a car in a few years, so you want to double your money. If you had to pick like three stocks, what would kind of be your top three picks?
Yeah, so I was really into this kind of last year. So but I haven't done as much kind of research on that front yet. Obviously, I know SPCE was one of the ones that I told Scalper Ryan to stash away
There
into.
you go. It's winning now.
So and like back then, I also talked about DKNG. This was back in November, December, right? And I think it went to $80 or something, 75 before it kind of fell down. But yeah, those are the type of ones where I like those cult tickers that can give me actually like perhaps like 100% return in only 6 months. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like long term, but it's also kind of like pretty short term. And so the way I like to kind of play these is, like obviously there's people with a ton of capital there, right? Just like bajillion dollars, right? But the way I like to think about it for long term, I actually don't think of long term more than like kind of 6 months, right? If you're kind of and so the way I like to think of it is the market, and this goes to your question on the market too. So typically, September, broader market, there's a huge sell off, right? Kind of, broader market indices. And November is one of those stronger seasonal months where you usually get an oversold rally. So I actually like to buy like good stuff, kind of that November timeframe, and you can hold it through basically April, right? If you're looking
Yeah.
at those kind of large cap tickers, DKNG, all those tickers went insane. So I remember I was talking about kind of Bitcoin in October because they had a halving cycle, and it went kind of just a week later, right? And then I was talking about weed. Nobody was talking about weed, and all of a sudden Georgia Senate runoffs, boom, right? And then Tilray is at $67 from $7. And then DKNG and then SPCE were some other ones that I liked. I was
Yeah.
actually really big on NNDM, and I thought that thing was going to reach 30, 32 at some point by the end of the year. I know there's still time, but it's been a little bit disappointing. But that was the other play that I thought had a lot of potential.
I love NNDM a lot,
Yeah.
actually.
Why do you guys like it? What's kind of the DD behind it? I haven't done enough on it.
Well, the way I kind of think about this way is I thought that 3D printing was kind of repeating its cycle from 4 years ago, and that's what I thought about weed and Bitcoin actually, and they did repeat it. 3D did repeat it as well, but not as, I don't know, prominently.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean that was one of the things, and obviously they've done a they before kind of all this downtrend stuff that happened beginning in February, right? NNDM was doing an offering like almost every day or something like that. No, not that frequently, but they were doing it so often, but people were just buying the offering. So they have like a ton of cash, right? And it's the 3D printing, type angle, right? The way I do DD is more about like I look for other factors, right? Because this isn't like Tesla or some multi large cap, earnings growth, all that, right? I look for more of that kind of technical angle and kind of what's happening in the real world that can make it happen, right? Like, so for example, it's going to repeat the 4-year cycle. You got Georgia Senate runoffs coming up as a catalyst, right? Which can set off, weed tickers. BTC, every 4 years, I'm just going to pay attention to it. And it wasn't some magic event, right? The halving cycle happens like every 4 years. So
Yeah.
the next 4 years, I'm going to be all over it and I'm going to be buying the dip. And so these are kind of the things that go into it. So those are some of the ones I looked at in the past. I haven't been doing research on kind of new ones just because I've been focused on, just kind of day-to-day trading.
Okay. So I really, really appreciate those ticker names. I think if this episode was going to come out today, people would probably get a really good idea of what to scalp